Let's get straight into the ladder because the 9 are alive still with 2 rounds remaining, and all eyes, Joey, on 8th place Giants, 9th place Western Bulldogs, because the Giants have got a tough one against Gold Coast this week, so they could flip if GWS don't get the chocolates next weekend.
Yes, it could by next weekend, and then the Giants in the final round of the season obviously get St Kilda to try and jump back into the top 8, and it'll be up to the Western Bulldogs and maybe Fremantle, depending on their result against Brisbane this week, to see where it lands for 9. So this for 8, sorry, or to make the top 8. So there's still plenty to play out. I think we're none the wiser. I had a look before, Kingy. We're trying to do the predictors. Like Fremantle, if they win one of their last 2 games, will probably finish 5th and get a home final. If they lose both, the way the results will go, they'll probably miss finals altogether. And that's just one of the teams. There's ramifications for Brisbane, potentially even Collingwood, and we know about Hawthorn and the Giants.
What about Brisbane, Kingy?
Oh,
tough run home.
They've all got 2-game seasons.
Yeah.
It's a 2-game season. It's like basketball. We just start with a minute to go. We've wasted all this time, Jake.
Wasted's a strong word.
Yeah, it is too strong. You're right. But against the bottom 9 teams, top 9 versus bottom 9, we've talked about since round 14, 40-2 now. And the 2 wins, both the Sydney Swans.
Yep.
So the Swans are the only bogey team in the table at the moment, playing some pretty good footy, and they're probably the one you want to avoid. Port were terrific in the hunt there. Melbourne, terrific. Look like they got their mojo back. So maybe there are a couple of others that can give you a scare.
That's the Cats that have Sydney next week. So that's no certainty now. When maybe looking 4 or 5 weeks ago on paper, it looked like it would just be a tick for the Cats.
Looks like a flip of the coin, that one, right? The Collingwood Football Club is certainly a big story, Kingy, and you're going to kick us off.
If you can't defend, you can't win it. It's as simple as that. So you join the dots if you like. If you think we're talking about your team, well, in this case, we're talking about Collingwood. And I've never seen them as poor with the fundamentals and as poor with the leadership behind the ball. I don't understand Isaac Quainer as a player at the moment. I really don't. Can't mind a baby in a pram. Doesn't win the ball back for you in terms of intercepts. Not a great one-on-one commodity. And what's he do? Doesn't help you score. Doesn't count a punch for you. So these sorts of jobs he has to get done. So I'm looking at this, okay, in reasonable shape. Roll across, can get the job done. But for some reason, they all just work independent of one another. And you have 3 guys holding hands at 2.5 back and 2 free out the back. And I think, well, is it just as simple as put Jeremy Howe? Does Jeremy Howe fix all of this? I don't think he does. And if he does, why aren't the young blokes taking control? Why aren't they looking after it? Well, how is Scotty Pendlebury's caught back here? How is Darcy Moore a mile from goal? How is Frampton a mile from goal? This is Crisp's a wingman. He's been caught, he's gone to the square, and now all of a sudden he's matched up on Kel Shadir. That's Maynard's role. So why have they swapped over and why have they stayed in those positions? Because Crisp's going to get beaten like this all the time against an aerial beast. So who's talking? Who's spinning their head and having a look? Are you right? Are you caught? You sweet? Even here, like just let an easy run and jump, an uncontested mark in the end. Really looked terrific, but in essence, it's an uncontested mark. Now, the boys showed this on Thursday night. Moore started in the centre bounce and just wrapped around. This is so easy. This is so easy, it's not funny. Half forward, just playing forward of the ball. Now, OK, there's a bit of trickery to get to that point, but they've got to lock them away. So it's not just a back 6 issue. This is Mitchell's man, Newcombe. They just left a stoppage. There's just no care. There really is no care. Not one person is having a look at Newcombe, who was really one of the great contributors for the night, sitting in the corridor 40 from goal. Now, we can show vision after vision after vision, but the bottom line is their profile right now is that of an also-ran. And Craig McRae is angry in the post-match because he knows it. He can see it. All this work that's gone in to get them 2.5 games clear on top, where they're only conceding 68 points on average, the best in the competition. And now the last 5 weeks, it's 10th in the competition. We talk about defence so often because if you cannot thwart and stop the best opposition that you're coming up against in finals, you're just going to defend all day and bleed all day.
So the coach says effort. He said there was no effort.
Yeah.
You're saying it's more organisation.
Yeah, no, he knows. He knows that those numbers there are not just effort. Their application, their actual buy-in. What are we doing? You right there, you right there, you right there. There's no one doing that. Now, it's too flippant to say Jeremy Howe fixes this. It's not that. I'm looking at it thinking, if this is them, then they are gone. They are gone because they'll get picked apart by the better teams. They hit an easy short pass and they're out of position straight away. They hit 2 or 3 handballs, get a chain going at speed, and they're lost. I've never seen them so lost behind the ball, and it is time that guys like Quainer, Perryman was brought to this club to actually stand up and be an organiser. Houston is a senior player. Play like a senior player. The numbers are alarming. And while we're on Houston, let's show some of Houston's work, because I don't know where he's at. To me, he's just chipping the ball or going for kicks that he really hasn't done over the last few years. I've never saw him do that at Port Adelaide.
It'd be flattened out, it'd be like a bullet, it'd get there.
That'd be a dart, 20-metre spike. It would get there in a hurry. No, he copped up 3 goals direct from his boot on the weekend, and it's alarming. And then I'm watching him doing this sort of stuff. Where's the vigour? Where's the want to defend? He looks heavy, he looks slow, he looks like he's lost his athleticism in an incredibly short space of time. What's this here? What is this? What's the effort here? This is what Craig McRae's talking about. That there. Look at him. It looks like he's played 3 games coming in. So I'm at a loss as to where they're at. Is it a motivational issue? I don't feel it's motivation. Maybe it is.
Shouldn't be.
Maybe it is. Does it mean enough to them right now? You can go wherever you want with this, but the bottom line is they are leaking so easily and to the point where they cannot compete with the good teams. And if you can't defend, you can't win.
The first half of the season, that was the hallmark. That was the cornerstone of their game.
Yep.
Watching that vision, they looked like a genuine mess in the back half. They come up against an Adelaide team very potent in the front half.
So who are they going to put on Isaac Rankin? I can't wait to watch Friday night to say which magnet
It's got to be Maynard.
goes to Isaac Rankin.
Has to be Maynard.
Well, why does it have to be Maynard?
Or because he's the best medium-sized defender.
Because they don't trust the rest? Is this the problem that they've got?
Should be Quainer.
They should have 3 options.
Yeah.
They should have 3 options, but I don't reckon they have.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Quainer put his hand up and say, I'll actually do the job. I'll do the job for you. Because I'm not an interceptor and I'm not a score involvement player.
You're not sure what kind of player
What
he is.
are you?
Yeah. Well, it's time for Health is Your Best Player. Thanks to HBF Health Insurance. Is age and health coming into play for the Pies? So this was the big question at King and Joey at the start of the season. They'd gone up, they'd become more mature, and they come out against round 0 and GWS looked awful and slow. And potentially that's how it is more so looking at the moment. So let's have a look at how healthy the Pies are, because there are some question marks here at the moment. So 31 players used, and only 14 played every game. What's your analysis
so
there, King?
They're both 16th and 14th in the comp in that time frame. So they've had 3, 3, 5, 4, 3, 3 changes over the last 6 weeks.
A lot of that's been deliberate.
Yeah,
McRae's talked about managing the minutes.
Yeah. Well, they've managed them to the point where they can no longer function. So there's a disorganisation there that is apparent with their lack of availability or desire to play those guys, or they're just not sure of their perfect mix. They've got no time to work with to get this right.
Because really, they were only missing McCreery and Bobby Hill from their best nominal 23. I mean, Jeremy Howe, you can put in that category out and then missed the majority of the game. But that's really it. It's not like they've got a whole host of players to come back. So what Craig McRae's got to work with is the group that we saw that rolled out Thursday night.
You talked about the back half. What are you seeing in the front half of the Pies?
Well, if there's concerns at the back half, there's also concerns with their connection and their chemistry in the forward half of the ground, because it was, again, a strength of theirs early in the season. But the alarming numbers have dropped away at both ends of the field. This is what held them in good stead. So their ability to score and how efficient they were going inside 50 has just completely gone. And watching the game, I'm thinking, what's happened? Why are they on a different page? This is a team that have played a lot of footy together and have a lot of understanding of what they're trying to do. But these were all from the first quarter, where you're looking at it going, what are they actually trying to produce here? So Nick Dacos, he's got 3 options. He's knocked these off all season long. He could have gone to Houston. He could have gone to Elliott, Mychek. For some reason, he's kicked it in between 3 of them. And this happened all night. So, I mean, Tim Membry here, they normally know exactly what they're trying to do with these held slow entries. And it went nowhere. And what was interesting, when you looked at the way they structured up in front of the ball, they played 6 forwards, but they were all on top of each other all night. So poor Josh Dacos there is having 3 goes at waiting for an option, and there's a cluster of them.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what's happened, but they've lost connection, they've lost their chemistry with one another, and it looks like their confidence to me now is really struggling, both with behind the ball and in front of the ball, and I just don't know if they have enough time to get it back.
Cohesion's a big question.
Yeah.
Do you think that they have to look at so Nick could go to half back and give him some energy and some speed and some quality out of the back half.
Yep.
It may not help you win the ball back necessarily. and give you a different type of entry, an entry at speed.
Yeah.
Do you think they need to look at that, or do they prioritise midfield?
That's the big chat, is where can you maximise Nick Dacos? I showed a few weeks ago he was starting to play more half-back, and I thought that looked good because the uncontested ball sets it up.
Going back to middle, though.
Going back to the middle. Can De Goey play more midfield? I don't like the mix of Ned Long, Tom Mitchell, Pendlebury side bottom. That's not going to work in a finals. The four of them playing in the same midfield, so they've got to change up the mix.
There's a lot of mouths to feed at half-back with Nick Dacos, Josh Dacos and also Dan Houston. Who wants the ball in that back half? So there's several playmakers. Can't wait for Saturday night. You catch it on Fox, of course, from 7:30. Adelaide versus Collingwood. Absolutely huge game.